Today I would like to introduce you to a wonderfully creative custom format called WotC-20. A format created by a shop called GamesIRL located in Avon, Connecticut, where this format is played regularly, and I've been kind of following them from a distance for a few years now. And I thought that their take on vintage formats was worth talking about on the channel, since there is a growing popularity of more custom formats like cube drafting or even gym leader challenge. So what is WotC-20 and why do I like the idea so much? Well, let's start with the legal sets for this format. We're going to be looking at everything that Wizards of the Coast published, all the way from base set up through Skyridge, and that includes the Wizards Best of Play promos, Wizard Black Star promos 1 through 53, and all cards included in the Southern Island sets. The 20 in WotC-20 signifies the format's biggest rule, which is that within your 60 card deck, you can have a maximum of 20 trainer cards. And that's trainer cards of any type, whether they be basic trainers, item cards, supporters, maximum of 20. And I think this is an amazing fix for a lot of the biggest issues that players run into when trying to create a healthy competitive format within the WotC era. It keeps big trainer combo decks from running away in a single turn by just playing card after card after card, running down your own deck, just pulling more cards out to play. It shifts that heavy focus on support trainers to support Pokemon that have similar effects like Dodrio or Cleffa, and just shifts the focus more towards the Pokemon rather than trainers in general, which is something that had kind of been missing from the TCG during the WotC era, and something that Wizards try to remedy themselves with Prop 15, but it really didn't work out because they mishandled it. I think that WotC-20 is the same idea, but with a better approach. Without the limitation on trainers, you run the risk of creating a WotC format from base to Skyridge that really only has 4 or 5 S-tier rank 1 decks, and everything else is unplayable. But with the limitations that they have within WotC-20, it actually opens it up to where you can expand on and really dive into the wealth of Pokemon that you have published across all of these sets. And yes, a lot of the same classic archetypes do pop up, like Rain Dance or Riptide Feraligatr, but the way that they're played is fundamentally different. The gameplay definitely feels more like the E-card era, where it's more methodical and thought out. You don't have to rush through your gameplay to get straight to a win. You actually get to enjoy the gameplay process, which also allows you to get creative with all of the Pokemon you have available to you within the Wizards of the Coast printings, drawing on some resources that would rarely see play otherwise, and squeezing some more flavor out of the deck building process so that you don't have to run an archetype to be competitive. One of my favorite decks I've seen posted from WotC-20 is this Sabrina's Kadabra Beedrill combo that utilizes Espeon and Dark Slowbro for some extra resource management. So props to Eric for this one. I'm pretty sure you watch the channel. If so, let me know down in the comments. The 20 trainer limit also addresses one of the broader problems that players ran into in playing base Skyridge, in that supporter cards were not preferable. They just weren't usable. Why would you run Professor Oak's Research when you can just run Professor Oak? Supporters are limited to 1 per turn for balance issues, but if you can include as many copies of unbalanced cards and play as many per turn as you want, why not go for it? Well, if you're limited to only 20 trainers in your deck, odds are you're not going to be firing off 4 or 5 on turn 2 anyway. For that matter, you're not going to be firing off 4 or 5 on any turn, probably. So there is reason to selectively choose and use supporter cards depending on the needs of your deck. There is also a ban list for balance concerns, and considering how many cards are included in the WotC-20 card pool, this is a pretty small ban list, and each one has its own considerations and rationale for why it's banned. This group has really put thought and work into creating a custom format that is both competitive and fun to play, which is especially appealing to me because that's what's so off-putting about most standard formats, is that they get so refined and uber competitive that they're just not fun to play anymore. There are other WotC-20 rulings on errata, and some other minor gameplay mechanics that I don't really need to go into for the purpose of this video, but if you do want to see those, I will list the GamesIRL website down in the description, as well as a link to the WotC-20 Pokemon Center Facebook group. If this format seems interesting to you, go check out their website, get involved in their Facebook group, post some decks, start discussion, show this group some love. Before anyone asks, I don't really have any plans to do any deck list videos on WotC-20 decks. A lot of them are kind of combinations of ideas that already appear in other deck lists I've done, and I don't want to be too redundant. I think the Facebook group already does a great job of displaying those deck lists, so go over to their group and check them out. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys next video. Bye.